Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just use the remaining 2 minutes. Yeah, because I wanted to be a free rider, but apparently the chair and Dr. Shen do not allow me to do so. So I think to conclude, I think this paper tries to convey two central messages. The first is that when it comes to China's MCF, the problem seems to lie in the institutional factor. That is, the so-called supplier and client relations. So here, the client being the POA, whereas the supplier being the Chinese conglomerates or so-called big companies, state-owned companies. Now, ideally, it should be the case that the POA put forth its demand, and then the military or the defense industry produce what the POA needs. But in China, this is not always the case. So because the main actors are the state-owned enterprises, they do not have motivation for efficiency, for competition. And so, and also they occupy the positions to determine what national resources can be allocated. So in this process, the state-owned enterprises produce what the POA has to use rather than the other way around. So I think this is the most significant factor that explains why there are some structural problems with China's MCF. So the implication is that even though Xi Jinping himself tries to enhance its leadership and to promote MCF. For instance, in 2017, he established a Central Commission for the Integration of Civil and Military Development. This effort alone was not sufficient. And the Chinese case is also quite different from the US case. Although the Chinese government tries to introduce several organizations in terms of innovation, and from the US, the institutional factors hindered that kind of efforts. So in the US, basically, military procurement is done by the private sector. So companies compete for the DoD's contracts. But in China, because of the presence of this big state-owned companies, this is not the case. So I think this is the first message or findings we have for this paper. And my second point is that this, however, doesn't say that the Chinese MCF is a total failure. So in other areas, for instance, the drones and artificial intelligence, the AI, China is quite good at these two areas. And what explains that success, I think, is from the private sector, from the civil society. For instance, the drones, even though the Chinese government since 2017 has come up with a list indicating what kinds of technologies future drones should have, the advance and the development of drones in China, I think, need to be explained in part by the COVID-19. Because during the COVID-19 pandemic, there were lockdowns in major Chinese cities. So there were practical demands for the local governments to surveil and to monitor people and to deliver the necessary services like food, like medications, and so on and so forth. So in this period of time, the private sector had the incentives to develop the so-called low altitude, slow, and small drones, and this kinds of drones in turn can be applied to or for military purposes. So I think this is also one issue area we need to pay particular attention. Yeah, and I think yes, Dr. Shen is reminding me, so I just stop here. Thank you.